So today we decided to give you guys a little short story. Just a short side of things, if you will. So Chelsea has no idea what I want to be talking about today. Do you, Chelsea?
No. No, I don't. Actually, so are you going to let me know? Is it homicide? Is it suicide? Or is that all part of the surprise? You know what? No. I want to be completely surprised. We're talking like full-blown Christmas morning.
Okay, so no peeking at your Christmas presents.
Nope. We don't get to open that one gift on Christmas Eve.
Okay. So I just want you to be prepared that this is wild. I didn't even know about this stuff or that it existed until my friend Ellie had brought it up. And she was like, "Have you ever heard about this?" And I was like, "Not in my entire life have I ever heard about this. How have you heard about this?"
Okay, I was going to say, but how would Ellie have said it to you? I have a feeling that she would have said it exactly like that, sweet and well-spoken. She's like, "Let me tell you the wildest thing, and I'm going to tell it to you in my sweetest, most professional voice."
100%. Yep. And that's how it happened. And then what I found did not match how it was presented. It was much worse.
So is this antique wild? I mean, are we doing Wild West, or are we doing like full
It's
blown?
like an object wild. And so we don't have to worry really fully about victims, right? In this podcast,
Okay.
it's really just about like inanimate question mark object. So we can shit on this as much as we want.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
ready. I'm ready.
So I am going to take you through a wild ride about necropants.
So, are those in the same clothing category as like velour
That's its
pants?
whole, it's a, it's its own category. So
Okay. Like, can you pick
no,
these up at
mm-mm,
Sam's? No, okay.
fresh
Fresh out
out.
of Necro
So
Pants at
this is
Sam's.
specifically around Iceland's necropants. I know that Iceland,
Okay.
since I don't know the last few years, is it remains the most peaceful country in the world according to the 2023 Global Peace Index. But this is
Okay.
not the Iceland that was on the 2023 Global Peace Index that we're going to be talking about. Okay.
This is the redheaded
Yes.
stepchild of Iceland.
We're going to take it way back to give you a background, and then we're going to get into it. We're going to
Okay.
start back and just go through a little bit of the history of Iceland. So much of Iceland's folklore and magical practices date back centuries, with roots in pagan rituals. Around 1000
Okay.
CE, never learned what those stand for, but I know that's a long ass time ago.
That's like the grandpa
Yes.
to BC.
Yeah. The population of Iceland was quite small, but there were Nordic settlers who brought their pagan beliefs to Iceland with them, along with a number of Christian settlers that came from Ireland, Scotland, and elsewhere.
Okay.
So you have kind of this melting pot,
Yeah.
and due to this split in religious orientations,
Dude, it's
Ice
always a split over religion, right? Like,
always, yep. So Iceland's parliament decreed that Christianity,
Iceland has a parliament? Is it
um,
big enough to have a parliament?
yes,
Okay.
yep, it's the entire country,
Okay.
yeah.
That is true. It is an actual full-fledged function. But I mean, like, in a 1000 CE or whatever you said, I guess
Hmm.
parliament, like, I guess the law came with it as well. So you had like Irish folk and pagans and Christians and the parliament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm here for it.
So Iceland's parliament decreed that Christianity would be the official religion. but the citizens would be allowed to practice their Nordic beliefs in private and for themselves. So we all
Okay.
kind of know what direction this is going, right?
Yeah.
Now, these blended practices existed until the 17th century due to a variety of issues. Firstly, Iceland in the 17th century experienced a lot of issues like natural disasters,
Okay.
coastal pirate raids, crushing class systems that severely marginalized the poor.
Okay.
And as a second
Okay.
event to note, this is also when Iceland was finally breached by Christian Reformation, kind of what we were talking about. So all this is going on at the same time. Due to the dreary nature of the
Mhm.
time, many Icelanders turned to powers and beliefs outside of human reach. Okay. Any guesses on where we're going with that?
Okay. Outside of human reach, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just the only thing I'm thinking of is witchcraft.
Exactly. So, literally, the next word, witchcraft, became
Yes.
widely popular and likely a string of hope for many Icelanders living in poverty during this time. Right?
Mhm. Right. Desperate times.
Right. And so, it's safe to say that even though this is what Iceland was turning to, the practice was no more accepted in 17th century Iceland than it was in colonial Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Okay, there was still a stigma, if you will.
Right. Right, right.
Um, just like the Salem witch trials, a number of accused parties were burned at the stake. But what's real different about this one is that most of the victims in the Icelandic witch hunts were male.
Okay.
Interesting,
So they
right?
were
Because
so they were warlocks or wizards.
sorcerers, first of all.
Excuse me. Yes, sorcerers.
Yes. So, going back to this whole church reformation piece, okay? We all know throughout the history that religion has been tied to control
Yeah.
in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form,
I feel like that's
right?
fair.
So in order to establish control and marginalize the pagan practices of the time, the church decided to introduce the concept of magic or sorcery as we know it today, right? So less kind of holistic and about the practice and more about, sorcery, magic, witchcraft,
Right, like,
evil
so this
and
is
all of
more
those
like they're
things.
deeming it blasphemy, correct? It's rooted in
Yes.
evil, it's
Yep.
not a good-natured or a, like you said, homeopathic type of approach, it's more or holistic, I should say.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So the land of the ice and snow, you see what I did there?
Mhm, I like it.
Yep. Went from being a realm of traditional belief and rich folklore to being viewed as full of sorcerers and witches. So now that that narrative was planted and began to be kind of the norm of the establishment, if you will.
Well, okay, but who thinks of them this way? Like, how fast is news traveling out of Iceland in the 17th century, in the
I
1600s?
don't know, Chelsea, their boats were really fast.
That is true. They did have a lot of rowing power.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So now that that narrative was planted, the Christian church had the excuse to destroy Iceland's pagan past.
Mm,
Okay. One of the reasons why this became such a problem was because, I mean, the Icelanders who were into the whole pagan thing didn't really do themselves any favors. They had wild and specific rituals to include sacrifice, which is
okay,
arguably what defined the
okay,
the characteristic of much of this Icelandic witchcraft or sorcery that the church was weaponizing. So for example, according to Eric Grundhauser, and he's the author of Necropants and Other Tales of Seventh.
okay,
We're gonna have to edit that out. The author of Necropants and Other Tales of 17th Century Icelandic Sorcery. One of the
okay,
things that, so some of the kind of wild and crazy rituals could include, like summoning vengeful zombies, and that required a lot of spit and snot licking. It's weird, right?
okay.
And so one of the crazier examples of the spell for summoning a creature called Tilbury. Okay, so this is
Okay.
one of the kind of more extreme, maybe not extreme, but just an example of how specific and wild these rituals were, right? And these belief systems.
Uh-huh.
So this Tilbury is this Icelandic
Okay.
two-headed snake creature. Think cat dog, but not with cat dog. Okay.
Okay, but summoned with the power of spit and boogers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a snake-like creature, double-ended. Real wild, but whatever here. Um, so like the whole purpose of this spell, like you'd think that these people would think bigger, but no. The sole purpose was to help them steal goat milk.
Goat milk.
I mean, croaker. Long story short, this Tilbury creature was summoned. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Was summoned by stealing a rib from a fresh corpse and then wrapping the bone with gray wool,
Okay.
which was also preferably stolen from the sheep of a widow.
I mean, I just feel like there is like 17th century alcohol involved in this process. You know, like
Yeah.
who was sitting around at whose house with one too many, you know, too many ciders, and they're like, you know what, we're freaking doing? We're taking a rib. We're gonna take a rib and old widow Guschenmacher. We're gonna go get her damn wool, and we're done. We're summoning it. Tilbury.
Yeah. So it didn't stop there. Okay. So again, the summon for this Tilbury
Okay.
creature. So you had to take the rib, right? You had to take the wool from the old widow, and then it had to be kept. This is wild. It had to be kept between a woman's breasts while she while she fed it regurgitated communion bread.
What was she? You said feed it. She's feeding the rib? The wool wrapped rib in her, like, that's in her bosom? Is that what she's feeding?
Yes. So she would feed it regurgitated communion bread for 3 Sundays and then let it suck the inside of her thigh where it left a wart. Okay. Now, once this was done, this very specific ritual, this two-headed snake creature would slither off to the neighbor, drink the goat's milk until it was full, and then it would slither back home to homegirl or family and provide the family with stolen milk. So all of
Like,
that.
just walk down the damn lane. Like, just be like, "Hey, Greta, I know we've had our differences, but can I please borrow some of your goat milk?"
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, you could just walk down the lane and be like, "Hey, neighbor, can I have some goat milk?" It's, times are tough. But here we are. Okay. So, needless to say, I don't think that the Tilbury or summons like the Tilbury helped the pagans fight against the church. Safe to say,
I
right?
mean, yeah. No. You're dumb.
Okay. So this just paints a picture of these wild rituals that in the Icelandic pagan kind of community,
Yes.
yeah, a picture that it painted and reinforced that ultimately brought forth backlash from the
Okay.
church.
I mean,
Okay,
at this point, rightly so. I mean, come on. Like, you're dumb.
even though that this is a pretty wild summoning ritual, that is not what we're here for.
Oh, that's right. We're back on
Yeah.
Necropants.
So, what's probably even more wild than this Tilbury summoning ritual is the creation of the Necropants, also known as the Legend of Nebrok. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but here we are. These Necropants were also the result of a ritual that was believed to bring the caster unlimited wealth.
I mean, that's fair.
Right?
Goat milk, not so much. Unlimited wealth, like, I could understand that a little bit more.
The problem was that this spell had a heavy price.
It always does. You know, dang it anyway.
Speaking of which, as a side note, what was that show that we used to watch with the campfire and they'd tell scary
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? And there was an episode where this girl wanted to be beautiful and the witch was like, I will make you beautiful, but it comes at a cost. Do you remember that episode?
I mean, I feel like most of the episodes were like that. So generally I'm going to say yes. But what was the cost?
It started to sacrifice her sister.
Oh, like an
ailment. No, like an ailment, I think.
Oh, okay. Right.
So then, she went back to the witch and was just like, I can't do this. I changed my mind. So anyways, the heavy price. So legend says in order to create a pair of these fabulous necropants, the sorcerer must first make a pact with a friend. Okay. Not like a matching BFF or Lila's necklace pact. Nope.
Not like a pinky promise. Like they're going to stick their little pinkies out and be like, circle, circle, dot, dot. Now we both have our cootie shots type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Nope. So the pact stated that once the sorcerer's friend died of natural causes, the sorcerer had permission to skin his friend from the waist down.
Yep. Nope. Okay, I'm starting to see it. And you just need to, just go ahead and keep on.
Now it wasn't like a fresh skinning. Okay. The skin could only be removed after the burial. So they'd have to bury his friend and then dig him up. And then he could skin him from the waist down, but there could be no tears or holes in the skin.
Okay.
Once these skin pants were made, the sorcerer has to put them on and steal a coin from poor widow.
Widows, it was not the best life for widows. If you were a widow, I mean, it was kind of like, what is your worst possible scenario in Iceland 1600s? It was like, please don't let my husband die and me be a widow. I'm going to be attacked from all angles. My wool,
my coins,
my dignity, my coins, like nothing was safe. Bless her.
Now that the poor widow has been robbed and sorcerer's wearing his buddy
by a man in skin pants. I mean, imagine that on your ring at 12 o'clock at night, right? Like, excuse me, Gerald. Number 1, why are you wearing skin pants? Number 2, give me back my coin.
So now that the widow has been robbed and the sorcerer is wearing his buddy's skin pants, he now has to get the coin along with a magical Icelandic symbol. And it has a really long name, and I'm going to put them in the show notes for you.
Okay.
Written on a piece of parchment. And place both this piece of parchment and the coin in the empty scrotum of the pants.
Well, but did it say if okay, you know what? there are too many questions. I'm just going to let you keep on. There are too many.
Okay. So after that, and put it in the empty scrotum of the pants. After that, the pants would continuously be worn, which typically looks reportedly pretty similar to the wearer's body. And the scrotum should continue to miraculously fill with coins forever as long as the original coin was not removed. Now, the only known pair of necropants in the world are now located in the Museum of Icelandic Sorcery and Witchcraft in Hólmavík, Iceland, along with models of the Tilbury life cycle. Now, these pants are not real, but they are realistic reproductions. But if you look at the picture, it is a literal ass pair of skin legs standing on a pile of coins that were magically produced by the scrotum of the pants. If you want to see, I've added a picture to the show notes, and there you have it. That is the wild ass tale of the Icelandic necropants.
Okay, but my first question, I think, is what if your friend was quite petite? Like, what if your BFF, like the only bloke in town that you could find who was one, yeah,
Like Chris
like
Farley
Chris,
and David
yes,
Spade
yes,
and
where it's
Tommy
like
Boy.
fat guy in a little coat. I mean, how would that work? Because there can't be holes in it, right? Like, do does your scrot hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Like, you can't pull those all the way up.
I guess its skin's pretty stretchy.
I
And
mean, it's not though. It's not. It's dead ass skin. It's losing its collagen as we speak.
well, but maybe the people back then were more equal in sizings.
You know what? I'm just saying I would be pissed. I would be like, I waited 37 years for this dude to die. It took me a while to find him, first of all. Then it took him a while to die because, like you said, he can't die of anything other than natural causes. Just to dig him up and be like, they don't fit. Crap. Like that's 74 years down the drain. And because he probably already stole that coin in anticipation, right? Like he probably has already committed robbery. He's already committed grave diggery. What is it when you exhume a body? That's got to be, Parliament is not happy with this. I can guarantee you that the law nor the church are happy with this. You got one chick throwing up the communion bread. You got this dude that has skin pants that don't quite fit. Like, what is what?
We're also assuming that the necropants don't fit.
How will they fit? There's no, you know what? Maybe they will. I hope they do. I hope you both were lean and long and beautiful. And you could add a scrote full of coins for the rest of your life on top of that perfect physique. Good for you.
Yeah. So that is the Icelandic necropants. That's wild, right?
You know, I think we need to come full circle back to sweet Ellie on why is Ellie the one telling us about the
I
necropants?
don't know where she found it,
That's the bigger question.
but it makes me question her a whole lot more as a human.
You're like, I regret not being friends with you sooner.
I
We've
know.
been friends for a long time, but
We could have been friends even before we were friends if you just told me that you knew about necropants.
So I'm a Scorpio and I really love long walks on the beach and I know a thing or two about necropants.
Yes. Well, I don't know how you want to end these.
If you thought that this was wild and you are here for more history, more things of the dead, and then this episode undead apparently, right? Because that's what our double-headed snake friend was, right? He was an undead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Undead
I
and
don't.
hungry.
He was
He was
neither
summoned.
dead nor alive, probably.
I think that's undead, right? The undead. That's what zombies are.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, my skin tone in the wintertime is that ghoulish undead look to it, right?
Mhm.
Like, cold to the touch, kind of yellowy white because I just am so pale and so grossly cold all the time. I feel like it probably looked a little bit like how my hands do in the wintertime.
So I'm sorry, I'm lost. Are you talking about necropants? Look how your skin looks in the winter time.
It looks like how my live skin looks right now is how
Yeah.
necropants look in
But you need to check out that
1600s
picture
Iceland.
because they even like stuck hair to the legs and everything. It's pretty wild.
It was probably stolen widow hair, you
Probably.
know?
Probably.
They probably shaved her. They were like, widow lady, like, we took your wool and your coin. Now you need to sacrifice your leg
Yeah.
hairs. I just want to know where they got the scrot hair from. Ellie probably knows, won't you? You ask Ellie. Hey, Wildside Tribe, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Wildside Podcast.
Make sure to tune in on Wildside Wednesdays. New episodes will drop each Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We would love to hear from you, so if you have a wild case recommendation, email us at wildsidepodcast@gmail.com. That's wildside with a C. Or share your thoughts in the comments below.
As always, if you haven't heard it today, you're loved, you're worthy, and you're valuable. And we'll catch you on
The flip side.